Hello everybody, I'm Marcos Villegas, being joined here with Tom Loeffler, the head of 360 Promotions. See, I got it right this time, Tom.
Got it right, yeah.
I got it right. Big card this weekend on HBO, Superfly Part 2. You like my French there, right?
Yes.
Part 2. Part 2.
Dose to you.
Yeah, it is, it is.
Yeah.
You look at that, all, hanging out with Abel and Gennady, you're picking up Spanish.
Yep.
You know, this is a card that has a lot of world champions in it, but I think the main attraction is rungvisai, because of the knockout that he got in his last outing at the Superfly show. He has a lot of momentum, and I didn't even know how popular he was in Thailand. Dude's a huge name in Thailand. I know you're expecting a great fight, but with this one in particular, do you think we could see something as dramatic as we saw in the last one?
I tell you, El Gallo, look, El Gallo is a tremendous mandatory challenger. Rungvisai, like you said, right now he's a national hero in Thailand, having beaten Chocolatito twice, especially with that dramatic knockout that he had in his last fight. You know, Rungvisai hasn't been in an easy fight. He had to fight Chocolatito twice. Now he's fighting Estrada. So he's fighting top level competition. That's the beauty of this show, is that the flyweight, super flyweight division, they're willing to fight each other. Promoters are willing to work together, and only as a result of everyone working together, you know, we've gotten the response to the fans. We've opened up the upper level now of the forum. They're $50 seats at the upper level. It's going to be a tremendous atmosphere. It's going to be like a soccer atmosphere. Everyone's going to bring their flags, supporting their national heroes. And we got, what do we have? Someone from Ukraine, from Puerto Rico, two from Mexico. We got Louisa Houghton from Australia, from the Philippines, Nietes. Argentina, Revico, and from Thailand. So, you know, it's like the United Nations of boxing for Superfly.
Looking at these cards, they've been successful for you. They've done tremendous amount of business. Fans seem to love them. They're filling up the stadiums where they land. What's the plan for Superfly 3?
I tell you, it was hard to beat Superfly 1, but I think we finally topped it. I think we finally topped it with Superfly 2 with the World Championship fights, 3 World Championship fights. You don't see that on a show like this. The last time I remember was on a big pay-per-view show, and I think they had 4 World Championship fights. Here we have the 3 world title fights, plus we got Cuadras versus Arroyo as the classic Mexico versus Puerto Rico battle. So this has something for everyone, and it's going to be rocking at the forum on Saturday night.
What about Part 3, Tom? What's down the line? What's going on with Part 3?
You know, we have to see. It's hard to say. Whoever wins. Look, if Cuadras wins, he's back in the mix. If Arroyo wins, depending on who wins between Rungvisai and Estrada, it depends if someone is mandated to do a rematch. Donnie Nietes, it's great to have him on the show. He's headline shows you the magnitude, Marcos, of this show. Is Donnie Nietes has headlined 2 shows before here in Los Angeles. Now he's the opening fight on the HBO triple header, and Brian Valoria is on the undercard right before. He's on the international telecast naturally, and it's actually going to be streamed on Ring TV, the undercard fights. But look, it's so much talent on this show that the Superfly 3 is going to be whoever rises to the top, and then whatever the best matchups that we can make.
I would assume, not could be wrong, that there is a need to have Inoue on the next card, given that the response he got when he was at the first Superfly show.
Look, Inoue made a big splash on his HBO debut, his first fight here in America. He's always welcome. Chocolatito, we're talking about Chocolatito being on the Cinco de Mayo show with Triple G and Canelo. So Chocolatito is really the pioneer that opened the door for all these fighters. So there's so much talent, so many great champions in those divisions that we're really looking forward to. If we can do a 3rd fight in the fall, it'll be a tremendous statement to keep this franchise going. And you see by the ticket sales, you see by the ratings that HBO gets, you know, people, the fans are really responding to the smaller divisions right now.
Do you know what fans are really going to respond to? And you're smiling. May 5th, finally, we get the rematch between Canelo and Golovkin. Yeah. What took so long, Tom? What happened there?
Well, it's look, as I've said a number of times, we could have signed the rematch a week later with Triple G. He wanted the rematch, even though he's the champion, he's the unified champion. he feels he won the fight. Abel Sanchez felt he won the fight. Harold Letterman from HBO, the neutral judge, he thought they won the fight 8 rounds to 4. So, you know, I think Canelo has more to prove in the rematch, but Gennady definitely wanted the rematch to leave no doubt as to who's the best middleweight champion of the world. And frankly, one of the best pound fighters in the world. You got 2 top pound-for-pound fighters fighting each other, not only pound for pound in the ring, but in marketing their careers. You have 2 of the most marketable fighters. That's how we did, you know, such a successful pay-per-view. We set the record for the 3rd highest gate in boxing history in Las Vegas, and you know, we're going back to Vegas, Cinco de Mayo. Hopefully, we don't have any controversy with the judging like we did the first fight. And you know, both guys say they're going for the knockout this time, so I think we'll see even more fireworks in the rematch.
Why Vegas? Is it because of the amount that was generated the first fight? Was that the main reason, that Vegas is just much more money to be generated for both fighters? Was that the #1 thing there?
The #1 thing is Canelo likes fighting in Las Vegas.
Yeah, so he picked Vegas? Did he say, I want it in Vegas?
He didn't pick Vegas, but you know, I went through the offers with Golden Boy and with Eric Gomez, and they were actually extremely close. We had a great time in Vegas last time, except for when they started reading the scorecards. So it was very close.
How close? How close was it landing somewhere else, like New York?
New York put in a strong bid, extremely strong bid. And it just really was, you know, do you want to go West Coast, you want to go East Coast? Canelo likes the West Coast. He's never fought in New York. He's never fought in Madison Square Garden. We thought, you know, it's a very historic venue. But look, we're happy. T-Mobile is an excellent arena, one of the premier arenas in the world. The MGM group is tremendous to work with, and you know, we'll be up there Cinco de Mayo looking for a knockout.
This close to New York, or like very close? Okay, because I know fans were wondering. You had a lot of people in New York hoping that it would land over there. Been reading interviews that Gennady has been stating, and he's saying, this time I'm going to knock you out. I'm not going to come in and do that. In terms of that, do you feel that's even needed? Like, if Gennady fights the same fight that he did the first fight, do you think he would win because that judge is not in play anymore? Or is that a bad strategy to go in with someone like Canelo who counterpunches so well?
Look, everyone can improve upon their performance. You know, I think Canelo is going to feel the pressure. He heard the boos. It's the first time I've ever heard him booed in his interview afterwards, whether they were booing, the fans were booing the decision, whether they were booing the way he fought. He says he's the true Mexican, but he didn't fight like a true Mexican that night. So I think that's what the fans were upset about. And you know, I think Canelo has the opportunity to put a statement on Cinco de Mayo. This is really going to be pressure for him because of, you know, it's really a great holiday with a lot of Mexican fans that are going to be up there, and Triple G's looking to, so there's not going to be any doubt on even if a judge maybe scores it a round or 2 of the close rounds towards Canelo, there really shouldn't be a doubt as to who the winner is going to be.
Is there a worry, though, to make it go 12 rounds because of that experience? Or you yourself don't want it to go 12 rounds?
Look, Gennady makes my job a lot easier when he goes for a knockout. And he was trying to go for the knockout, but you know, sometimes if your opponent is too elusive and too defensive, then there's not much you can do for that. You have to give Canelo credit. He's only the 2nd person ever to go 12 rounds with Triple G. So I don't think Gennady really has to change much. If you win 8 rounds to 4, the problem is you win 8 rounds to 4, you get a draw. You know, there's got to be something that you that you can improve upon, and I know Abel has been watching the fight and trying to figure out, you know, how can we make an even more emphatic statement. And Gennady, I can sense an edge about him this time, that, you know, he has a lot of respect for Canelo. They sparred together. They were friendly before. He had respect in the first fight, but I think now with what he feels is a very controversial decision, controversial draw, that it's affected his record, it has affected the negotiations for the rematch, and I think he's really, you're going to see him take out on Canelo in the rematch.
He's pissed. Is he pissed?
He's not happy.
He's not happy?
He's not happy that there's a draw on his record, that's for sure. Yeah.
He's told you that explicitly, like, I hate this, I hate that there's a 1 on there.
Well, he feels he did enough to win. Abel feels he did enough to win. He just doesn't like the fact that 2 of the judges didn't see him winning the fight. So what can you do? You can't. That fight's done, and now we're going to move on to the next fight. And I really think that with the way these guys complement each other, it's going to be. Look, we do great co-promotions with Golden Boy. We did the David Lemieux fight with Golden Boy, where Triple G stopped Lemieux, took the IBF title from him. That was in Madison Square Garden on HBO pay-per-view, and it was a tremendous promotion. The first time in September, and we're looking forward to. It'll be a fun time leading up to May 5th. Now, you know, when you can work on these mega fights that the fans respond to, and really everyone internationally is looking forward to. I think these are broadcast in over 100, 120 countries. They really, this type of event really transcends the sport of boxing. It becomes an international sporting event. You got people flying in. You see the Vegas airport full of private jets, people flying in from everywhere, all across the world to come see them fight, or tuning in all across the world. And that's what really makes this an international sporting event.
On my last question here, Tom, you know, speaking of the rematch, obviously, if one wins or the other wins, people are naturally going to want a third fight if nothing super crazy happens, like a knockout, where it's like no doubt. Do you foresee a third fight?
I could easily see a third fight. Again, it depends on what happens in the second fight. We're all rooting for a knockout for Triple G, but again, you know, these guys need each other. It's like peanut butter and jelly. You can't be, you know, that high of pay-per-views, that high of ticket sales, this high of sponsorships, international television revenue, that high of a closed circuit revenue. You know, there's so many different revenue streams that a promotion like this generates that they need each other. And they've proven to be two of the most marketable boxers that we've seen recently here in the sport of boxing, and it wouldn't surprise me, depending how the second fight goes, it wouldn't surprise me, but I don't think Triple G is going to hold back in the second fight. He's going to go for the knockout, and if that spoils a third fight, he's not going to care about a third fight. He wants to put an exclamation point on the second fight.
And you don't got to worry about either Conor or Floyd making an announcement to kind of. Is there a worry there? Like you're just like, oh man.
Look,
like,
Floyd is one of those guys. He can announce a fight on 2 weeks' notice and sell out an arena and break pay-per-view records. So, look, you know, we're just going to focus on our event.
It should do a higher pay-per-view buy, you think, right?
Oh, I think the second fight definitely will do a higher pay-per-view buy. Not only because this is really the premier event, you know, leading up to May, but frankly, the fans, they saw the first fight and they want to see something more satisfying the second time around, and I can tell just by the reaction we've gotten since Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson announced the fight.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
That was cool. I have to give HBO credit for that. They arranged that, and
how much money did they have to pay The Rock, though?
You know, he realizes this is a mega fight, and you know, he's got one of the highest followings on social media, and to have him announce it, you know, really took it to a different level. And ever since that announcement, the reaction that I've gotten from the fans, I can tell it's even at a higher fevered pitch than the first time.
Well, I can't wait, Tom. It all goes down May 5th. But this weekend, Superfly, the man right here, Tom Loeffler, the head of 360 Promotions, in the main event, Srisaket rungvisai, defending his super flyweight title against Juan Gallo Estrada.